Hi, y'all. What are you doing? What are we doing? Are you guys bored like me? Because if so, that is lovely. You can kick it with me, chill with me, and we can learn. We can learn. It's 9:30 Central. I was supposed to go live at 8, but y'all know how it is when I say I'm gonna be live at 8. You know, we figured this out already. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? So, anyways, look, I really don't have an agenda for today's live. I wanted to just do a credit Q&A like we normally do. But I wanted to just do it at night. You know, we had to put the kids to sleep. They don't give you a second of quiet time. So I had to wait till my kids kind of like settled it down or whatever. And now we are here. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I hope you guys' day was amazing. I'm not gonna hold you. My day was a little wonky, only because my spirit was heavy today, with the whole school thing yesterday. Like, I just have been not in sync today, just been really, truly just mentally drained. But we're not gonna talk about it. Let's just focus on, something more positive. So we're not all in here sad or whatever. So yeah, how you guys doing? Credit Q&A. If you guys, of course, like, yeah, know, I feel like I say the same speech every time. If you guys have any credit questions, anything that you are just not clear about when it comes to your credit profile, whether that is repairing your credit or rebuilding your credit, or just a question, I guess, about credit cards or something like that, I am the girl that can help you. No, I'm rested. It was just, no matter how rested you are, like shit like that happening in a state that your kids go to school at, you know what I mean? It's just a different type of mental agony. What is the World Elite Mastercard? So most people with Capital One, Quicksilver, and I believe Platinum cards probably recently got the email about them upgrading your credit card to the World Elite Mastercard. And basically what that means is it's an upgraded version of the Mastercard that they had. And now you will get more benefits like rental car coverage. And the other one was, I forgot what the other one was, but it's some sort of coverage for something. So it doesn't change your credit limit or like anything like that. It's just kind of a different version of a Mastercard that comes with benefits. Okay, let me tell it says, should I pay a credit card collection charge off? It's been on my credit for 5 years. So if you want me to be honest with you, after 2 to 3 years of a collection being on your credit report and you've not paid it, paying it is not going to help you if you do not have a pay to delete already established prior to paying it. So if the company is going to agree to delete it, then I'm all for paying a collection after that amount of time. But the damage has already been done, number one. So it's not going to do any more damage than it's already done. And then number two, paying it does not mean deleting. Paying it just means that it'll be updated with a $0 balance on your credit report, but that does nothing for the credit scores that matter. It does nothing. So unless the company is going to delete it, or unless it's like a newer collection, it really is no point, because what you're going to do by paying that collection, you're actually going to re-age it. Like, you're going to bring the collection current. And so the older a collection is, the less impact it has on your credit score. So if it's already old, it's already years old, and you've not paid it yet, and they're not suing you, in my opinion, there's no point. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Yeah, Facebook groups right now are under heavy attack from scammers right now. What they're doing is they are taking over real people's pages. Like, they're hacking real people's pages and posting in a group or whatever. It's just happening all over Facebook. Like, it's just something, like, you just have to use your discretion. Obviously, don't, like, this stuff be like, do you want to, Amazon is going to hold a job hiring enroll to 750? Come on, guys. Like, that is not real, and they do it every day. So just ignore and report so we can remove them. In which situations would bankruptcy be a good idea? I would never recommend bankruptcy. I'm just not that person. So you're gonna have to ask that to probably a bankruptcy attorney, because I'm not the one that's going to say file bankruptcy. You got the 350. How you liking it? I'm waiting for the new EQS or whatever, the SUV electric vehicle from Mercedes. I'm waiting on that. It's supposed to come out next year. I like X1 car, yes. What is the difference between a charge off and a collection? Okay, so a collection account is a derogatory account, and it can be from any creditor or any person or business that you do business with, right? So anything can end up in collection, even if it was not already on your credit report. If the account is defaulted at any time, that company can sell it to a collection agency or send it to a collection agency. So any single thing that you were obliged to pay and did not can end up in collection. Whereas a charge off, the only time an account can be charged off on your credit report is if the original creditor charges it off, meaning that it had to natively been reporting on your credit report. The main difference is a collection is a derogatory and a charge off is a derogatory, but a charge off is known as a key derogatory, meaning it is a worse derogatory than a collection. In order for a company to charge off an account, they have given you months to see if you're going to pay the bill. They've tried to collect from you and they have deemed the account uncollectible. So they write it off for tax purposes, write it off as a loss. And after they charge it off, some and most will decide to also sell it to a collection agency, right? So you can have a charge off that is a charged off account as well as a collection. But the main differences between the two is the collection is with a collection agency, which is a third party entity, and then a charge off is with the original creditor still. So charge offs are harder to fight. They're harder to dispute because they are still with the original creditor who still has all of the original documentation, the contracts, and things of that nature. Is debt consolidation using a loan a good idea? Depends on if the loan has a really good interest rate. My concern is getting a loan with an extremely high interest rate and then you're paying 2, 3, and 4 times what the debt actually was. So that's, I guess, my only concern about that. Looking to buy a home in the next year, 5.4% auto loan. Do you recommend still trying to refinance? That will heavily depend on like your credit age and your credit profile. So 5.4% APR on a car is not horrible, of course. So, and you said you're looking to buy a home within the next year. So actually, this is something that I'm covering in the upcoming home buyers webinar, but I would suggest that you wait. This is obviously without looking at your credit report. So I'm not sure if you even struggle with credit age, but you don't typically want to open new accounts when you are trying to get a home loan because that is not going to help your credit score. So I would say wait. And for those of you who are not aware, I am hosting, me and Matt, MG the Mortgage Guy, we're actually doing a how to purchase a home in 2022 webinar. It's on June 1st between the hours of 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's $20. If you cannot commit to that time, you will receive the replay link so you can watch it and it's yours for life. You get lifetime access to the replay. You'll get the slides. You'll also get, we'll do a Q&A session as well. And of course, I'll be teaching credit. So I'll be teaching you how to prepare your credit profile to get approved for a home loan. And then Matt will be teaching how to actually close the deal, like market trends and all of the underwriter lender portion and aspect of buying a home. So pretty much I put it like, I'll get you to the closing table and he'll help you close the deal. So it's a 2-for-1. It's $19.99. It's on June 1st. There are 30% of the tickets left. So 70% is gone. So if you want to join, make sure you get your tickets ASAP. We are also hosting a giveaway. So if you want to enter the giveaway, go on my Instagram page, which is Road to 750 Plus, and comment on the latest post and you can be entered into the giveaway. We'll do a random drawing. But yes, I'm super excited. Like I completed my finalized outline today and man, we touching on all types of ish. So get y'all ticket if y'all haven't already, because when y'all don't get it, y'all gonna be like, can we get the replay? And the replay is not gonna be for sale. I'll tell you that right now. So it's a one-time thing. If you didn't purchase it prior to us starting, then it won't be for sale. And it's on roadto750.net. Yes. How do you handle a medical collection? How do you get a medical collection removed after you paid the original creditor the total debt? The collector is Carter Young. So any paid medical collections on your credit report will soon be deleted starting July 1st. It'll start with, I believe, Equifax, and then Experian and TransUnion will start their efforts the beginning of January 2023. So if you've paid it, nothing you can do pretty much right now because they're going to be deleted anyway. So just kind of like sit back and it'll be deleted soon, starting July 1st. So then, and that goes for all paid medical collections, and paid meaning like even if you settled the account. I saw the video you posted earlier about double jeopardy. Can you explain that? So yes, double jeopardy is when two separate companies are both claiming ownership of the same debt. And the only way that they can legally claim ownership of the debt is if they are reporting a balance owed on your credit report. The reason why double jeopardy is something that you want to make sure you deal with is because it is a false representation of your debt obligation. So let's say you are trying to buy a home and your lenders are calculating your debt to income ratio. If you have double jeopardy on your account, which is typically, like I said, which is two accounts claiming you owe them, that's going to double that debt representation. You know what I mean? So it's a false representation of your debt obligations. You need to get it fixed, especially if you're trying to buy a home. A lot of times, people are on the line of being approved for a home loan or being denied based on their debt to income ratio. So every little bit counts. Double jeopardy typically happens the most when it comes to charged off accounts. So an account will be charged off from the original creditor. The original creditor will then decide to sell the account to a collection agency. And what happens is the original creditor never zeroes out their debt. Like they'll still be reporting it as though you owe them when they've already sold it to a collection agency, and you technically now owe the collection agency because that's who has the current ownership of the debt. So said a lot to say, make sure you don't have more than one account claiming ownership over the same debt on your credit report. It's very important. Very, very important. Hey, Bria, thank you. You said, I have a charge off that's reporting charge off every month. It's a high balance though. Can I settle it and then have the credit bureaus remove it because of the incorrect reporting? So yeah, you can settle it for sure. Now, what probably will happen after you settle it is they'll stop reporting the charge off every month. So you may not have a case at that point because you can't retroactively dispute. You can't say months ago you were reporting this and I know that you're not reporting it anymore, but I still want to dispute it. You know what I mean? So if they don't update it, then yeah, you absolutely can dispute it. But if they do update it, then that's just a dispute that you just can't do at that current time, if that makes sense. And thank you, by the way. What do we do when we get sued? I just got served. So if you get served, you need to go to court. And I know that's cliche. You either need to go to court or you need to you can file a motion or you can contact them directly. But the easiest thing is to go to court if you are not prepared to like settle it right away. Go to court, show up. The only thing that is going to be required of you is that you set a payment arrangement. It's not scary how it seems. I know going to court, you know, it is scary, right? But it's not that when it comes to debt. You're not going to be taken to jail for debt. All the judge is going to do is require you to enter a legal agreement to repay the debt. If the monthly payments are something that you cannot afford, you absolutely need to be vocal about that because it is a legal binding agreement at that point once the judge rules on it. So if the judge say you need to pay $60 a month and you cannot afford $60 a month, say I cannot afford that. Most of the times the judge will either allow you to settle and, you know, lessen the payment down to an amount that you can afford. And honestly, a lot of times the judge will go ahead and throw it out. But you need to show up, because if you don't show up, the judge will grant the creditor a default judgment, which will entitle them to either garnish your paychecks or place liens on your bank accounts. I know, for instance, like in Texas, they can't garnish your employment wages, but what they can do is place a lien on your bank account. So the money, the money that's in your bank account, they can take the income and money that's coming in your bank account. So no, they can't garnish your wages, but like they can still place a lien on your bank account. So go to court. Will a medical bill that is in collections fall off your report rating wise once changes take effect? Rating wise, fall off your report rating wise. What you mean? Maybe I'm overthinking that question. What you mean rating wise? What's a proposal for acceptance of collateral and full satisfaction of a debt? Who sent you that? So they're basically trying to recuperate some money from you. And they will accept your they may accept property, anything that you have of value. Contact them and try to settle ASAP. All right. What if it's the same account reporting twice because they changed names? They are both reporting on my credit report. So they can both report, they cannot both report a balance. So where it says balance owed or balance, if both of them are reporting a number other than zero, then yes, that's double jeopardy. But if one is reporting a $0 balance and the other is reporting whatever you owe them, then that's not double jeopardy, even though both of them are on your credit report. They have to both be claiming ownership of the debt, meaning reporting a balance saying that you owe them. So I would check that out. Check out the balance owed. Do you send separate letters for round 3 for each inaccuracies? Yes, I do. The most I'll put on one letter is 2. I never go past it. I really like putting 1 though at a time, because the first 1 or 2, they probably are going to just update. And then I noticed that the more you point out, they just don't do it anymore because your disputes are just being passed through at that point. So I like to limit it to 1, at the most 2, literally at the most. Would that be public record if a company sues you for your debt? So if they get a judgment is public record. Yes. After delinquent payments on other accounts, how long does it take to get approved for Amex? It's no set time, because American Express is most companies. This is not exclusive to American Express, but it takes time. There's no set time, because it's all going to be dependent on your credit profile, what you have done since the debt, what else is on your profile. It's no set time, to answer your question. Jasmine, I deleted a rental collection. Does that mean the eviction judgment is removed, or is there more I should do to assure that? So when it comes to rental records, you need to fight more than the credit bureaus. The reports that you should be challenging are your rental reports. So CoreLogic, LexisNexis is not a rental report, but they typically will show evictions or whatever. But you said rental collection, so I don't know if it's an eviction. And also your, like I said, your CoreLogic, ARS, LexisNexis, Experian Rent Bureau. Yeah, those are the ones that I can think of right now. So you need to fight the third-party reports when it comes to rental anything, rental balances, evictions, or whatever the case. They both have the same balance due, same account number. Oh, well then yes, that's double jeopardy. That is double jeopardy. If you're in the group, there is a free double jeopardy letter in the group files. You can send that. All right. What are you still selling tickets? Yes. So tickets are still available at roadto750.net. Again, there's $20 for the How to Purchase a Home in 2022 webinar. Me and Matt, I'm gonna be covering the credit side. He'll be covering the lender's side. So yes, it is still available. Hello, if I consolidate some of my Stafford student loans, will it affect my credit? Yes, it will. So anytime you consolidate anything, any type of debt, what you're doing is closing old accounts and opening up a new account that will include all of your consolidated debt. So you're closing accounts and opening up a new account, both of which will affect your credit age. It will decrease your credit age. So if credit age is something that you don't you're not strong in on your credit profile, and what I mean by strong in credit age is honestly at least 7+ years. If your credit profile is younger than that, then you should probably try to hold on as much credit age as you can. Let me see. Hold on. No, I don't do one-on-one consultations. No, I don't.
Been trying to join the Facebook group, but pending for 2 weeks. What your name on there is Marcus Williams? I'll screenshot and I'll let you in tonight. We got down to the lowest request that we've had in years, literally. Like I've not like we're not even in the thousands anymore. We're in the hundreds, which is not usual. So we're almost done. I have a medical bill due to fall off this year. Should I mess with it? I wouldn't personally, no. I mean, unless you just got the time, but like it's really not going to do much for your credit profile. Like I said, with medical collections already, they're placed on a lower totem pole than other collections. 3, most of them will be removed come July anyway. So unless you have something big that you're trying to purchase, and even in that aspect, they wouldn't even care about it. So I wouldn't waste my time, but you know, that's on you. That's on you. If you don't get pre-approved for a credit card, does that mean you won't be approved? So not necessarily. You know what's funny? I've never been pre-approved for a credit card, but I believe it's because I have a lock on my credit report. So I won't be pre-approved anyway, but not necessarily. And in the same boat, even if you are pre-approved, it doesn't even mean that you're going to actually get approved either. So it just means that some portion of your profile, up to 10% of it, matched the ideal consumer for that bank or institution. So you don't always go off. Don't always place so much on a pre-approval, whether you get approved or not, because it really doesn't mean much. What are you trying to get approved for? I can see if I can help you with kind of like their typical recommendations or requirements, rather. How do you lock your credit report? So you can contact each credit bureau separately, or if you have like a premium credit monitoring account, like the Experian one that costs, they allow you to lock it. But the easiest and free way is to call them. Just call them and tell them you want to freeze your credit report. Let me see. Do you recommend paying off high interest CC with a lower interest card? So do you recommend paying off high interest credit card with a lower interest credit card? So basically you're referring to a balance transfer. I have no issues with balance transfers. Just make sure you find a card that makes sense. Obviously, you said lower interest on that credit card. But yeah, I don't have a problem with balance transfers. It's you're paying less interest for the same amount of debt, which will help you pay it off faster. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Thank you, Vianney. Thank you. What does locking your credit do? It just makes it harder for someone to try to steal your identity. I just like to do it just because it protects it just protects me from someone trying to freaking steal my identity. I've worked hard on my credit. Like I don't have time for someone to come and mess it up, because it's so hard to get over the identity theft slump. So it just protects you. It's just an added layer of protection for your credit report. It's just like putting a passcode on your phone. How do I proceed on a HIPAA letter on a collection that was validated by the credit bureau and ignored by the creditor? Have you sent the HIPAA follow-up? And also, how long ago has it been? How long has it been since you've sent it? I look sleepy. I'm a little tired, but I ain't that tired. A little bit though. What's your minimum credit score required for Amex? So it's not a credit score requirement. When it comes to American Express and most big banks, they look at your profile over your score. I always tell people that your score is for you, it's for the consumers. Companies look at your score, but they don't use that to determine if you're actually going to be approved for something or not. They actually look at your credit profile in its totality to determine your spending habits, your borrow worthiness, your risk level, and all of that. So the best profile for American Express that I would recommend would be having at least 12 months of perfect payment history across your entire credit profile. So no late payments on any accounts within the last 12 months. You need to have a credit card already for at least a year before you apply for American Express for the best approval odds. of the credit cards that you already have. Make sure that at the time of application, your utilization is below 10%. American Express is extremely like utilization sensitive, so they really pay attention to how you are behaving with other credit cards. If you have a late payment specifically on a credit card within 18 months, I personally would not apply for American Express, Citi, Chase, or Discover. So yeah. If a debt is started off at one amount 3 years ago, but now rounds up because it's 50 cent originally in the balance, can they now round it up? The balance should not change. What they're probably doing, and I can't just accuse them of it, so I'm going to say allegedly, what they're probably doing is re-aging your account. So anytime there are any account changes with the balance or the dates on an account, what that does is furthers the statute of limitations, which is extending the time in which they are able to sue you. And collection agencies, what they're known to do is either decrease your balance by $1, or they'll increase it by $1 or 50 cents or something small that they know most people won't pay attention to. No matter how small it is, any change in a balance is updating your date of last activity, which also extends your statute of limitations. So I would absolutely call that out. I would write a letter to the credit bureau as well as the collection agency stating something along the lines of this account was updated. The balance was updated on this account in this month of this year. I have not made any payments towards this account, and I am not aware of any fees or interest that is permissible to be added to this account. Because of that, I have reason to believe that you are falsely manipulating my date of last activity, and I am requesting that the account be deleted before I am forced to file a complaint with like the Attorney General, the CFPB, all of that. A lot for a little bit. You probably gonna have to run this back and hear what I said, but I would kind of like write something like that. You just got to call them out. That's the thing. Like, yeah, we have consumer rights, and yeah, most of us know our consumer rights, but what's good is knowing it if you're not going to hold them accountable, because they're not going to hold themselves accountable. The CFPB is not going to really hold them accountable. History tells us that we have to be our own advocate as it pertains to our credit report. And yeah, so you call their ass out. Call them out. I have totaled a vehicle which is 5 years old, which is showing charge off every month. I have documentation that I only owe $7,900, balance updated to $19,000. I have disputed with NOLA. Can I remove it? Why did the balance go from $7,900 to $19,000? I do know with repos, with vehicles specifically, I've never seen a contract, an original contract that permits the company from adding interest and fees to the finalized balance, like a lot of credit cards and stuff like that would do. Cars, they absolutely can add fees and interest and all of that. So that may be it, but that just seems like a lot. Like that's double the car. That's more than double the car. So I would ask them for an itemized bill to see what you're actually being charged for and go from there. How many credit cards are too many? Too many credit cards is if you have opened up more than 3 credit cards in 18 months. Too many credit cards is if you have multiple credit cards and your utilization is not extremely low, because the more credit cards you have, the lower your utilization should be. The worst thing that you can do is have so many credit cards, so many meaning more than 4 credit cards, and your utilization is not below 5%. Because at that point, you really, 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 really are raising your risk score when it comes to companies, especially credit card companies. You got all these credit cards and you have not managed any of them, right? It's easy to have high utilization when you only have 1 or 2 credit cards. Companies are not ignorant to that fact, right? But if you have multiple credit cards, a lot of credit cards, and your utilization is still high, you really, really, truly look very irresponsible to lenders. And they're going to be less likely to lend you anything, less likely to give you credit limit increases and all of that. So I always tell you guys, our credit profile tells an entire picture that our credit score does not tell us, which is why companies are going to prioritize what's actually on your credit profile more than your score. You can have an 800 credit score and still be denied for credit cards. You can still be denied for a home loan. You can still be denied for cars, whatever. The list goes on. You can be denied for anything, no matter how high your credit score is, if your credit profile does not tell the same picture that your score does.
And what I mean by that is, of course, the number one reason why you would typically have a better score than your profile is if you have authorized user accounts, right? Nothing wrong with AU accounts, especially if they're your family and friends. I would never recommend you buy any. But the fact of the matter is, if your credit profile is not in the same credit rating grade, like, bad, good, fair, great. I said that wrong. Bad, fair, good, great. If it's not in the same chapter or whatever category, then you have a problem. You have a problem. That means that you need to work more on your credit profile so that it matches your score, so that you are not going to get denied. Because a lot of companies, especially nowadays, they're omitting your trade lines anyway. They omitting them AU accounts anyway, especially if it's not a household member. So just keep that in mind. Hello, which CC did you say to apply for between 12 and 4? I don't remember saying that, but I know a lot of people in the group be doing the Apple Card, the Apple Card. So yeah. Oh, what's your question? I am me 3232. What's your question, girl? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. Hello. Oh, I just said that. I'm so slow. Oh. Repo with no balance is reporting on-time payments. Is this enough to get it deleted? It doesn't have a balance on there, right? And they're reporting on-time payments. See, look, one part of me is like, that's really helping you because it's helping your total payments, But at the same time, if it is a repo, every time it reports, it is updating, so it looks more current than what it is. So yeah, you can't challenge it, but they're gonna take away all them payments. So you just gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? How old is it? If it's like, how old is it? How old is it? You need to send the repeat charge off letter. It says, I sent the letter to Equifax to fix a late payment that was supposed to be corrected. I sent the letter that the mortgage company sent me to them, but they didn't fix it. Now what? I sent the letter to Equifax to fix a late payment that was supposed to be corrected. I sent the letter to the mortgage company sent me. Oh, okay. I had to reprocess that. So your mortgage company agreed to update or remove a late payment. You sent the proof of that to Equifax, and Equifax did not do anything, and you're asking what should you do. I have a question though. If your mortgage company has decided to update a late payment, they would have to handle that directly with the credit bureaus. That's not going to be something that you self-report. So that's why they likely ignored it, because they can't they can't take your word for it, with Photoshop. They just don't know the authenticity of it, right? So your company, your mortgage company, would need to contact the credit bureaus, and they should know that. But I would absolutely ask them, hey, can you guys go ahead and contact the credit bureaus to update the account, because they are telling me that they have to hear it directly from you, or say something like that. But they would need to handle that with the credit bureaus directly, because they're not going to really take your word for it, How do I feel about credit union credit cards? I like credit union credit cards. One of my favorite banks is Navy Federal. Of course, it's a credit union. And the reason why so many people love Navy Federal is just the fact that Navy Federal is they'll give you a high limit without a perfect credit score. They'll take a bigger chance on you than like a traditional big bank. The interest rates are extremely low with Navy Federal. So it's kind of like a win-win-win-win-win all across the board, right? The only thing I don't like about them is they don't do reward points. That's the only thing. I just need them to get with the reward points, and I feel like I would like their credit cards a little better. Shit. Yeah, I like Navy Federal. Oh, yeah, y'all was asking that before I said that. Yep, I love Navy Federal. I keep missing your question too, and I promise you I'm trying to find it. Hold on. What the they gonna say? I don't see it. I am me. So put your question again. Yeah, if you purchase anything from the site and you didn't get the download, or it doesn't matter what happened.
Always reach out to customer service. We'll get you taken care of. Customer service is info@roadto750.net. We will get it taken care of. It doesn't matter what happened. But a lot of times, if you purchase from the site, it'll go to your spam, your promotion, or your junk folder if you have Gmail, because it is an attachment sent in the message, and I'm not in your contacts. So Gmail just automatically will categorize that as promotion, junk, or spam. So check those. If not, shout out to customer service, and we will take care of you. With the X1 card, so it doesn't go off your credit score. X1 goes off your current earnings and your future potential earnings, whatever the hell that means. But you connect your bank account and they determine if you're approved. My opening date on my closed and charged off credit cards are different on each credit bureau. How do I dispute? And the amounts shown are different as well. My opening date on my closed and charged off credit cards are different. Oh, okay. So it could be different based on when the account was sent to each credit bureau. If they're really different, like more than 30 days different, more than a month difference, then I would challenge it. But if it's within the same month but a different day, that's not really a strong challenge, because they're only required to report the month and the year. Yeah, I'm live on 3 platforms, so I'm not like purposely overlooking questions. I promise. I'm just like literally just going back and forth. Do you have any Navy Federal card? If so, which ones? I have, I don't know the names. I just know the codes. I have the red one and the green one. But cash rewards and some, I rarely use them. I had to remind myself to use the Navy Federal cards, I think last month, because I don't want them to close. What's the name of the website for free credit report? Annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. Can I erase a request to erase the previous mortgage company that sold my mortgage in 2020 with late payments and how? So no, you can't request to have it removed if there's not an error in how they're reporting. But being that the account is closed, I would challenge the late payments. I would challenge it because it's closed. Now, if it were open, then I would have different advice. I would go directly to the mortgage company. But being that one is closed, I would challenge the late payments personally. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle Bolts. Michelle. Is Capital One Saver a good card? I don't like it. I have a repo reporting monthly. Is that legal? It depends on how old the repo is. Was the account charged off? Because you can be repossessed and the account is never charged off. Weirdly speaking, I've seen that multiple times. The company does not have to charge off an account. Now, do they mostly charge off repo accounts? Yes. But if they haven't charged off that account, then you're just going to keep on racking up late payments. What I would do is call the company and request that they close the account. Just request that they close it, because the longer it's open, the more late payments you're going to have reported. And keep in mind, one late payment on your credit report will take you about 9 to 11 months of one-time payments to come back from the damage that one late payment did to your credit report. Sorry. Can you walk us through the process of how to be pre-approved? I can, but I'm doing that in the How to Buy a Home in 2022 webinar literally next week. So we definitely will be going over that. My whole goal is to get you to that pre-approval table. And we talking about, when I say I'm talking about credit as it pertains to home, I can tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Number one, I'm talking about your credit profile, how your points are distributed, which sections you need to pay more attention to, what's the difference between your mortgage scores and your regular FICO scores, how to actually improve your mortgage scores. Like, what is the difference in that? Why your mortgage score is probably not moving and hasn't moved in months. Where to find your mortgage scores. What reports lenders will look at in addition to just your credit report. I'm talking about the qualifying scores. I'm talking about building credit, what accounts to add to your credit report so that you can have a complete credit profile in order to qualify to buy a home. How to repair the bad account items on your credit report, the derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, late payments, how to fix those. Inquiries, how to challenge and or dispute inquiries. How tips to improve your credit score to get you over it. Maybe you're walking the line of being approved or not. How to get
small amounts of points, or not even small, but just how to improve your credit score so that you are able to be approved, and just all of that. That and more, how to calculate your debt to income ratio based on your credit report, all of that. So if you are interested in buying a home in the near future, you need to be at this webinar. It's $19.99. It's me and MG. He'll cover the lending underwriting aspect, teaching you the trades and tricks of that part. Listen, I'll be lying to you if I explain to you what he was going to tell you guys, but yeah, he handled the side that I hate, which is the paperwork. So he'll get you out there. I get you to the table. He'll help you close. So again, the tickets are available now. Road to 750.net. Why they? My bad. Hold on. Easiest approved credit cards. The easiest approved credit cards are probably going to be like Capital One Platinum, Capital One Quicksilvers, Discover It Student, or even just the regular Discover It Self. All of those starter credit cards, those are going to be the easiest ones to get. Do you have any information on Santander and their lawsuit? Like what? I mean, like what exactly? How do you suggest handling a late payment on an account that was newly closed? So if the account is closed, late payments is up for grabs in terms of challenging, because the only thing that you do have to worry about if the account was opened is if they close the account. So being that you don't have to worry about that, what I would personally do when I'm challenging late payments on closed accounts, I ask the credit bureaus to verify that is the exact month that I was late. Or I would tell them that I don't, remember being late that particular month or year. I would only challenge one late payment at a time, because the goal is basically to get the credit bureaus to think that they made a mistake in the reporting, right? And the reason why this is still ethical is because you are never going to outright say, you're not going to deny it, but you're just going to hold them accountable and make them validate the debt. So I have a late payment letter on my Instagram page. In the highlights, you can click on late payments, and it's a letter that you can send right there. How long is the tickets going to be on sale? So the webinar is June 1st. It's 30% of the tickets still available. So basically 70% is sold out and 30% is still available. So basically until it runs out. It's Wednesday, but it's going to be Thursday. So it may still be here Friday. I'm not sure. I don't know. Capital One keep denying you. So if Capital One is denying you, that typically means that you have what's considered bad credit, right? So there's a difference between not having any credit and having bad credit. So the cards that I just recommended was for individuals who are starting their credit journey. So the Capital Ones, the Discovers, all of those that I named, those are typically for starter. If you have bad credit, meaning you have bad accounts, derogatory items on your credit report, then your first credit card will typically either have to be a secure card or a subprime card. Companies that you can look for those are Open Sky, First Premier, First Progress, Indigo, yeah. So all of these are subprime lenders, meaning that the limits are going to be low, high interest, and they're not going to be able to graduate. Like, they're literally used as a stepping stone. After you have those cards, behave with them for a few months, then you typically can qualify for traditional credit cards. So sometimes you just gotta build your credit profile and your credit worthiness back up before you're able to be approved for even just like starter cards. I personally had to do it. So many people have to. Yeah, I am. I'm reading from Facebook and YouTube. My bad. I was looking down. My bad. Let me see. How do you use Smart Credit for disputes? If you find incorrect information, which bureaus do you dispute? All. Because who's to say who is right? Even if two is on the same page and one is not, who's to say that two is right? Remember, the burden of proof is not on you as the consumer. The burden of proof is on the credit bureaus and the creditors, right? So if anything is wrong, dispute everybody and make everybody prove themselves. That's just how I do. How can I get late payments removed from Sezzle? If the account is still open, you would have to go directly to Sezzle and ask them to give you a goodwill adjustment. I've heard that Sezzle is not really friendly when it comes to goodwill adjustments, so you might be stuck if the account is still open.
How do you get a Navy Federal account? You have to be affiliated with someone in the military, past or present. So if you have former family members, grandparents that served in the military, even if they're no longer with us, you can still use them to qualify to become a member of Navy Federal. If a household member is in the military, there are certain qualifications, but it's basically you have to be affiliated with the military in some type of way, usually. If you can't get Navy Federal, PenFed is also an alternate option that you can get. They pretty much have pretty much the same products as Navy Federal. They're pretty much the most comparable bank or credit union, my bad, to Navy Federal. And you have to pay a membership fee. I believe it's like $5 or something. It's probably more. Don't quote me on that $5 because I truly don't remember. Hi, what's the best way to get a paid judgment removed or sealed from public record? So you're not really going to have control over sealing it from public record. The only thing that you can control is to get it off your third-party reports. And that's pretty much the best way you're going to kind of be able to handle that. And is it debt? Is it a debt judgment? And if you've already paid it, like, they're not really going to care. Like, lenders are not really going to care anymore. It's already paid, so it's not really a threat to them, unless you just want it removed for another reason. But there's no way to fight public record. Can you have too many credit cards? There's no set number, but if you can't handle the credit cards that you currently have, if the utilization is not low, then you got too many. You got too many. Can I remove a debt that has an address that I never lived at? I would absolutely challenge it for one, because basically if the address did match your current address, it would be harder to be removed. So the fact that you've never lived at the address, that would be my dispute reason. Like, I'm not there. This is not my debt. This is not my debt. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say this is not my debt, but what I would say is, I would send the collection agency a debt validation letter. I would force them to validate the debt. The address that they probably have is the address that you've never lived at. And I would dispute that. So yeah, absolutely. Purchase my ticket today for your upcoming webinar. I'm so excited. No, I am so excited. I am so freaking excited. Like, yeah, I don't understand. I'm so excited for this webinar. I'm so freaking excited. Shout out to you. What to do if a collection agency sends an original contract? When they send that original contract, that is considered legal validation of the debt. That is considered legal valid. Oh shit! I'm gonna knock my computer over. That is considered legal validation of the debt. There's a collection I need advice on. The debt right now keeps restarting the time around. It keeps restarting the time around this time every year. So I'm not sure if it'll ever go away. Okay. So number one, no matter how many times they've re-aged the debt, it will not take away from the fact that every derogatory account on your credit report has a time limit of 7 years from the date of first delinquency, right? So no matter how many times a collection agency sells an account, no matter how many times they update it, the date of first delinquency can never, ever, 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 ever change. What can change is the date of last activity, which will determine your statute of limitations, basically how long they can sue you. Reagent is wrong. So that is something that you can call out. That is a dispute that you can put into the credit bureaus. I would always start with the bureau reinvestigation request, of course, round one, before I ever point out any factual errors. So, yeah. Somebody want to join? All my medical collections are under 500. When will they fall off? Early next year. Is it safe to say my score will increase? Anyone? Well, that's hard to say without knowing what's on your credit profile, because, you know, of course, anything that falls off your credit report will affect your credit age. So if your credit profile is like really empty, you don't have much on your credit report, it's not unusual for you to lose points when collections or charge-offs are deleted from your credit report.
But those loss of points don't mean that you are in a worse position than when you started. Your credit profile overall is now considered healthier. It's considered less risky, regardless of if your score did decrease. And typically speaking, when your score does decrease as a result of loss of credit age, you will rebound from that within a few billing cycles, especially if you have a credit card and reporting low utilization. You will rebound from that really fast. So, if it does decrease your credit score, oh well. Like, credit age matters, but bad credit age is still bad credit age. It was still a collection. It was still a charge off. So regardless, your credit report is better off without those derogatory items. And it's way easier to gain and build your credit report. Your credit score without derogatory accounts on your credit report. It's super easy to get points. That's what I be trying to explain to you guys. It's so easy to get credit points, and it's easier the less derogatory items you have on your credit report. Like, if I could just start over from credit, like, or I'll just use my kids for example. I cannot wait until they're 17 years old so that I can put them on my credit card 6 months before they turn 18. By the time they turn 18, they already have a generated credit score, because FICO requires you to have an account reporting for at least 6 months before they'll issue you a credit score. So on their 18th birthday, they would have had a credit score. It's so easy to build credit without derogatory accounts. So even if it does decrease your credit score, it's super easy to get them back. Where can you check the most accurate credit scores? My FICO or Experian app are my favorite FICO score apps. Those are my favorite places to get my credit score. Experian is cheaper. My FICO is hella expensive, and I only recommend my FICO if you're actively in the home buying process, because you get to see your mortgage scores. But other than that, if you're just applying for credit cards and stuff like that, Experian is the perfect solution. It's accurate. It's up to date. Yeah. And if you don't want to pay, you can get your Experian report free, your Experian FICO score free. But if you want like Equifax and TransUnion as well, all three of them, then you have to pay Experian membership. But yeah. So Credit Karma is not a real score. So Credit Karma is a real score. It's just a Vantage score. And, lenders just don't care about your Vantage score. They care about your FICO scores. So when people say it's not a real score, that's what they mean. It's just not the score that lenders look at. So, yeah. Should you settle with collection agency if they have original contract? Yes, I would. I would personally settle. I would ask for a pay to delete. I would send them a pay to delete letter, and I would settle the account. TransUnion responded to my round one for a charge off, but I'm scared to reply back for Nissan. Why are you scared to reply back? You're out there now. You're in the middle of the ocean. You can't do nothing but swim. You're in the middle of the pool. You didn't jump. Now you just got to swim or you're going to drown. Respond back. What the hell are they going to do to you? They're not going to do nothing. I have Navy Federal charge off. They are reporting charge off monthly. I think it's contributing to my CC utilization. Is this allowed? Should I settle or dispute? It shouldn't still be considered. It shouldn't still be contributing to your utilization. And if it's been charged off for more than 180 days, 6 months, then it should not be still updating. So that is reporting an active payment history on a closed account. All charge-offs by default should be closed. You need to make sure that it's closed. A lot of times when they consistently report charge-off every month, CO every month, C every month, it means that they are reporting the account as open, which is why the payment history is still updating. A charge-off should be closed. In order for a company to even charge off an account, they would have had to close the account first. So make sure your charge-offs are closed. And if they're not, you need to request the credit bureaus to close the account so that the payment history can stop updating, which makes the charge-off look more recent than it actually is when a lender pulls your credit report. Let's talk bankruptcy. What about it? What about it, girl? What about it? The statute of limitations in California is 4 years. So does that mean I can remove charge-offs and collections or have to wait 7 years? Do I dispute charge-offs first? Okay. To answer your question, you're asking about two different things. So statute of limitations just determines how long you can be sued for a debt. Statute of limitations will vary by state. So like you said, for California, yours is 4 years. The other thing that you are asking about is reporting time of 7 years. The reporting time, no matter what state you're in, it's still 7 years. So an account can be outside of the statute of limitations and still be able to legally report on your credit report because it's still within the legal reporting time of the 7 years from the date of your from the date of first delinquency. So yeah, it can absolutely be 4 years, or outside of the statute of limitations, but still on your credit report. So there are just 2 different dates. I never knew that the collection agency updating the balance by $1 negatively affects me. Yes, it does. And it's just their way of re-aging the debt. And knowing that most people will not pay attention to that, will not, like, especially if your balance decreased by $1, like, you probably like, oh, cool, I'm not really gonna trip on that. But you should trip on that, because if you did not make a payment and they're reporting that you made a payment, they are extending the statute of limitations. Collection agencies know that when an account goes outside of the statute of limitations, the chances of them being able to get their money is slim to none. So they are going to want to deal with a collection while it's still within the statute of limitations, just because they know that it adds that underlying pressure of the consumer knowing that they can be sued. They can threaten you, even though that's illegal for them to threaten you, but they'll kind of like say it in so many ways, like, I'm going to take, they'll say it in creative ways. So they know that once it's not within the statute of limitations, they're not getting their money. So they'll update your balance and do little tricky things to re-age the account so that they still can stay within the statute of limitations. So no, even if they decrease the balance by $1, you raise hell. Should you pay your credit utilization down to 0 after your statement date before your due date, or should you leave 1 to 3% Really good question. And I'll just tell you exactly what I do, right? So by my due date on all of my credit cards, I pay them all off. I just don't like paying interest. I just don't care. I hate paying anything extra. So I'm going to zero out all of my credit cards by the due date. My statement date is 2 weeks after my due date. So within that 2 weeks, I will charge a small amount to a few of the credit cards. It has to be at least 1% of the credit card limit in order to report, because you do not want 0% reporting, because that can actually decrease your credit score. If you are applying for credit cards, like new credit cards or credit limit increases, the first thing they're going to see is that you report a 0% utilization, and they don't like that. Banks prefer for you to use their credit cards as opposed to just letting them sit, which is why inactive credit cards are the #1 reason for credit cards closing. Banks will close your account. So 0% is never good. It can decrease your score. The best utilization to report is between 1 and 3%, like you stated. And I make sure that I make a small purchase before my statement date of about 1%, 1 to 3% of my limit, so that it can report at least 1% to my credit report. My statement date is 3 days after my due date. Dang, yours is close. So yours is close. And then you got to keep in mind, you might want to reschedule your due date, because that's what I did for all of my credit cards, by the way. So if your credit card statement dates are all over the place and it's just like you stress the hell out trying to think about when to pay when and all of that, I rescheduled all of my due dates. I basically put all of my due dates to be due within the same week. So that made all of my statement dates fall within the same week. So it's just planned. I know the second week of every month, I need to chill, not really spend on my credit cards, because I'm going to let them sit and wait until they report. Wait till the statement date passes. Do I dispute charge off first or collections? It's no order. I dispute them at the same time. I just dispute them on different letters. I don't dispute them on the same dispute letter, but I dispute them at the same time. What's the point of waiting? What is the point? I got a bankruptcy removed from Experian, but they won't remove the accounts tied to it. I charge a method with 5 rounds. What method did you try for the accounts? Because for my personal method, for after I get the bankruptcy removed, I challenge the accounts separately as charged off accounts. But the first letter that I would put assuming that they didn't update it on your credit report. Because the thing about bankruptcies is once you get it removed, you need to already be disputing the accounts within 10 days of you getting it removed, especially within 30 days, because it typically takes them that long to update your credit report. And all of the accounts that were tied to your bank account that used to say included in bankruptcy would now be considered a incorrect or inaccurate reporting, because if you don't have a bankruptcy on your credit report reporting, they cannot legally say that the accounts tied to it are included in bankruptcy. So the second that you get that bankruptcy deleted, you are supposed to be challenging the accounts, just on the basis of you are reporting these accounts are included in bankruptcy. There is no public record on my credit report. These accounts are reporting inaccurately. Please delete it from my credit profile immediately. This has caused me irrefutable damages. And you be dramatic, but that's what you got to do. That's the thing. But if they've already updated that it was included in bankruptcy, then you just have to challenge it like a charge off, which is the hardest type of account to challenge. So it's very strategic, especially when it comes to bankruptcies. I have 2 American Express charge-offs, $1,300 each. They are set to fall off in July of next year. Should I settle? Will settlement so close them for being removed allow me to get a future one? See, that's the thing. You asked 2 things. So with American Express, I believe that the only time that they are willing to forgive you is if you pay the entire balance. So I don't know if a settlement will place you in a position where they'll never approve you again. So I'm not sure. You may have to pay that in full. But to your other question, you said they are set to fall off in July of next year. Should I settle? Oh, well, I already answered that. So you can try, but it's no guarantee that they'll accept you again. It's no guarantee. You might need to just go on over to Chase and Citi. I mean, they got just as good cards, especially Chase. Chase pretty much has a card that can compare to every American Express card on the market. So you might need to just roll over to pull up to Chase, because American Express might not be fucking with you. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like they real temperamental, and they real like, oh, she messed me over once. We not really doing that. Like you can put American Express in your bankruptcy, and it has been known that sometimes they'll ban you for life for that. So it depends, girl. It depends. They don't like that. What about Capital One and Discover? Capital One will accept you because they accept any fucking body. No, for real though. Capital One is very forgiving. Navy Federal is forgiving as long as you pay the full balance. Discover, I think they'll put you on like a few years hold, like a few years ban, but they're not gonna ban you for life. American Express don't play. Exactly. American Express don't play. Like they don't play. That ain't the one you gonna want to play with. That's the mama. Like, I'm not one of your little friends. That's who American Express is. Chase is like the strict aunt, but that's cool. Like you can get a few by, but it's only so much that they're gonna take. Citi is like the cool older cousin that lets you pretty much do you, but still kind of like hold you to a certain standard. So you got to be a little bit responsible. Like that's how Citi is. That's how Chase is. That's how American Express. That's how it is. If you know, that's gonna make sense to you. Is Chase forgiving? They can be. That's what I meant. Like they can be. Like they way more forgiving than American Express. I'll say that. Is it 60 business days from the date it was delivered on a tracker, or in general? Technically speaking, it's from the day that they open your dispute. Most people don't realize that they missed that, and they think it was from when it was delivered. It's not. Even still, they're not regulating the time right now because the CFPB has granted them additional time to do investigations. So no one is regulating it, which means that the credit bureaus are absolutely abusing that, of course. And at this point, you just got to thug it out. You just got to wait. What was the question? 2 people said good question. Let me find it. How do you get rid of a bad credit card? You know what? You want the truth or you want the politically correct answer? It's late. We don't do PC at late night. Truth be told, you really should never close a credit card. Like you really should not ever close a credit card. But sometimes you do. Sometimes they close it, whatever the case may be. It's never going to like benefit you or your credit profile that you've closed the credit card. Anytime you apply for credit cards in the future, know that the lenders and the banks are looking at that closed credit card and wondering why it's closed, right? And because they don't know, the only thing they can do is speculate. You either couldn't afford it, which is obviously a red flag to them. They'll know if the company closed it or if you closed, so it'll say like account closed by consumer's request. And they're just going to wonder why you closed that account. Now, if it's a subprime lender, that may make sense more so to them. So if it's like a big bank, I would not. But you said bad credit card, so I'm assuming you're talking about subprime. Yeah, that TV is loud as hell. That's crazy. I can hear that, but I can hear it too. That's my son. The card is Credit One. Okay, yeah, Credit One is a subprime lender. Depending on how old it is, I don't know, because the thing, like I said, when you close that account, you're going to lose the credit age. If that was your first credit card, y'all know I have a golden rule. You never can close your first credit card. I don't give a shit how horrible of a credit card it is. Don't ever close your first credit card. Why? Because yeah, we do have something that's called credit age that's calculated into our credit score, right? In addition to just your standard credit age, which takes into account all of your accounts on your credit report, all the loans, all the credit cards, and every single account on your credit report, you also have something that's not calculated in your score, but that lenders kind of utilize. It's called revolving credit age. So they don't give a shit how many times or how many installment accounts that you've had in how long you've been dealing with installments. They don't care. They want to know how long you've been dealing with credit cards. If your revolving revolving age is a few years and you close your oldest credit card that was 6 years ago, and it's not an average. So it's literally how long you've had a credit card. When you close that your first credit card, then they're gonna have to go off your second credit card. So hopefully it wasn't years in between the time that you've gotten those cards. Now, if they're a little closer to time, then it really would not make a difference. But yeah. Synchrony and Community, they're not considered subprime cards. They're like starter. They're more so starter cards than subprime cards. Yeah, they're more so starter. I wouldn't put them at subprime. Can the banks actually see when you've had items removed off your credit report? No. So they won't see the account anymore. If it was removed off your credit report, then they don't see it. They just see the credit report, your current credit report, which is all of the accounts that are current, that are still reporting. The thing is, though, if you got something removed, and let's say you got something removed 2 weeks ago, and then you feeling yourself, you on your credit monitoring apps, they telling you your score went up, they showing you your score went up, and you excited as shit. So you get to applying for things, and now you get denied, and you like, why? They can still be seeing an older version of your credit report. So basically, if you get anything removed, I always recommend that you wait at least 45 or more days before you apply for anything, because just so you can force a full billing cycle to go past and force your credit bureaus to update. So they can see it if they're still looking at an older version of your credit report. So if it's been recently removed, they can likely still see it. You should not try to get a card with bad credit. Fix your credit. You're talking to somebody. Yes, credit card before installments. You need, if you got a auto loan and you don't have a credit card on your credit report, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you in the sense that had you just had a credit card reporting for a few months, it could have been 3 months, you would have gotten a lower interest rate. You would have gotten better finance terms. You always want to make sure that you have a credit card before an installment, especially a long-term installment. It's really long-term installments. And that goes for kids too. That goes for kids. So when your kids are growing up and you got nieces and nephews or whoever, children in your life that are young adults becoming of age to 18 or close to it, do not let their first trade line on their credit report be a car. Don't let the first trade line on their credit report be any long-term installment. The first trade line should always be a credit card. Always. The first trade line should always be a credit card. And if they're just turning 18, you have a lot of options. There are a lot of companies that will approve individuals who don't have credit. Capital One, student cards. If they're in that student age, look at the student cards. If they still live in the house with you, you can use your income. You can use household income if they still reside in your house or reside on a college campus. They can use household income. If you're married and you're applying for a credit card, you can use household income for like how much you make. If you are married, your spouse's income is considered household income. Where do you sign up for the webinar? The webinar is on the site, roadto750.net. It's a how to buy a home in 2022. So this is a webinar for new home buyers, first-time home buyers, or maybe you're on your second property or whatever. This is for you, getting your credit profile prepared for home ownership, and then also how to close in this competitive market and all of that paperwork and documents that's needed from you that you need to give your lenders, the process of getting a mortgage, the pre-approval, what happens next, what else, what are things that you don't need to do while you are buying a home? What are things that you need to plan for if you know you are getting a home within the next 6 months, within the next year? Like what are those things? So actionable steps, itemized list of things that you need to do and you don't need to do, how to fix your credit. If you have collections, charge-offs, late payments, increase, I'm going to literally go over how to fix each of those items. What accounts you need to deal with, what accounts you don't need to deal with. So if you need to know any of that, pull up on me at the webinar June 1st between 7 and 9 p.m. $19.99. Tickets still available on my site. MG, the mortgage guy, will be joining me talking about the lending, the underwriting, the market trends, the income documents needed, because he's a lender. He's an actual lender. So he'll literally tell you what lenders are looking for. Things that you don't know, things that are not readily available to the public as it pertains to that side of home ownership. Eastern. But if you cannot commit to the time, every ticket holder will receive lifetime access to the replay. You will also receive my slides as well as MG slides. So if you're one of those people that like to go back and reread and take notes like me, we got you. You're going to receive the slides, all of that. When we talk about repairing credit, I'm going to be showing you the exact letters that you need to send. Like, I got a piece of hair in my bag. All of that for $19.99. Yes, Eastern, but if you're not available, you can still watch it. Yeah, it's road to 7. Can somebody put my website, roadto750.net? So I can pin it, road to750.net. How many more tickets was available? When I started, it was 70% was gone, so it was 30% more available. How long is it going to be on sale? Until it sells out. First come, first serve. No, so after it's not going to be available to purchase at a later date, like after the webinar is done. We're not going to sell the replay. It's you either get it before it starts and you'll have the replay, because we're not going to put it available after. It's a live event and then you get the replay. I went to court over a repo. They sued. They sued to garnish my taxes in 2018 that I was not aware of. The judge upheld the garnishment even though I was never served. Judge said to work out with attorney any benefits. So that's the thing. After a judge rules on it, that is the final. Like that's the finale. There's nothing like that the credit bureaus can do that can change that or anything. So the only thing you can do, unfortunately, is try to contact the attorney to see if they'll be willing to work out something. Because if they didn't file, if they didn't serve you, you should have asked that in the beginning. So as soon as, you didn't go to, so you didn't go to court, right? You ain't said. Yeah, I'm assuming you didn't go to court because you said you wasn't served. Rebuilding my credit and I want to switch banks. Do you have any bank recommendations? See, I'm team having a big bank and a credit union. Navy Federal is a really good one. BB&T, I think their new name is Truist. It's so many credit. Honestly, the best credit union is going to be your neighborhood credit union that's probably local to your city. Those are the best ones to have relationships with because you build a more personal relationship with them. But then big banks, of course, is my favorite big bank is I don't really only like one big bank, which is Chase, because I don't like Wells Fargo. I don't like Bank of America. I don't like US. Well, US Bank is cool. US Bank is the is another one. I don't like US Bank of America though. I purchased the credit repair off the DIY kit. Yes, keep me updated. Yeah, I love Chase. I used your late payment letter for student loan removal. They denied what I do next. So go like keep going. Remember I told you I had to send it like 30 times. I wasn't playing. I really wasn't playing. I wasn't. Yes, the DIY kit. Road to 750.net, buying a home in 2022. Period. Unpaid rent reporting to the big three. Should I dispute the big three first or the third parties first? Third parties first, then the big three, always. When it comes to any public records, whether that's bankruptcy, judgments, tax liens, child support, anything you need, if you want to have a good chance of getting it removed off your credit report, you have to get it deleted off the third party reporting agencies first. Public records, I'm always going to recommend that you clean LexisNexis, you clean SageStream, which is now owned by LexisNexis. So you also need to clean ARS, and you also need to clean Innovis. So those are going to be the top 4. Did I say 4 or 5? Whatever. Those are going to be the top ones that I recommend that you clean, because those are the main ones that supply the information to the credit bureaus. Got my ticket, period. Thank y'all. Shout out to y'all. I cannot wait. I promise you, you're going to be like, God damn, this is the best $20 I ever spent, because we are coming. We are coming. Like, I got a whole ass outline, all that. Like, we're coming. No, it's not exclusively for 2022. We just said that because, it's 2022. But he'll talk market trends and all of that, and basically what we can expect from even after 2022. We're already halfway done with the year. We know that most people are not going to likely be able to close this year. But basically, if you're trying to purchase a home, I would say within the next 2 years. Or if you just want to, learn how to, when you do get ready to purchase a home, how to fix your credit and stuff like that, then yeah. Have you had problems removing collections with LVNV? Yeah, because they are a debt buyer as opposed to a collection agency. So they typically will try to just sue you, especially if you challenge them. They typically are going to try to sue you. So I typically recommend to settle with them or ask for a pay to delete, which they have given multiple times in the past. What is the website for the most accurate scores? MyFICO or Experian.com. They both have apps as well. How to dispute check systems. So you have to request your report from them. You can call them or go to I believe their website is checksystems.com. Google it and request your report. Once you request your report, send them a dispute letter disputing the information that you want to dispute from your report. But you need to have that report number when it comes to the third party entities. How do you feel about first time home buyers program? Yeah, obviously it's situational. It depends, but I mean, yeah. And I'm all about getting grants and all of that. So hell yeah, get what you can. Do you share the same sentiment as, not sure who that is? You should never do an FHA loan. No, I don't share those sentiments. I don't think it's anything wrong with doing an FHA loan, because a lot of people can only qualify for an FHA loan. What I do suggest is you refinance into a conventional within 3 to 4 years of having an FHA loan. I say that, but I wouldn't say to not buy a home until you have a 680 plus credit score, to go conventional or whatever. Hell no. So no, I don't share those sentiments. Just purchased the ticket for June 1st. Yes, Vianney. Shout out to you. I will see you there. I cannot wait. My mouth being so freaking dry. Okay, so with TransUnion, if it was a bankruptcy filed after November of 2018, they're using LCI.
Right now, you cannot dispute LCI. They're so freaking annoying because it's like a back and forth thing that they keep switching. So right now, I'm just going to say you really can't dispute LCI. And those are the bankruptcies that's the hardest to get deleted, which are bankruptcies that was filed after November of 2018. Because that's when TransUnion switched over to LCI. Is it legal for collections to raise and lower by $1? Not if you have not made a payment. No, it's not. They're re-aging your account. Please talk about Pacer. Yeah, what about Pacer? Pacer is just an online court record system. So it's public record. It's basically the courthouse, but online. What about it? When's the best time to apply for a new credit card? Like time? Or what do you mean? The best time to apply for a credit card is if you don't have any, the best time is today. No, but for you need a credit card as soon as possible. My father was an ex-Marine. Should I apply for Navy Federal? Yeah, you will be eligible for Navy Federal. You may have to ask your father for his DD 214, but most of the times they don't even require it if you let them know it's your father. I got my bankruptcy deleted off Experian and Equifax, just not TransUnion using a BK kit. Is that why? Yes. So I'm assuming you filed bankruptcy after November of 2018. That's literally exactly why. But shout out to you for getting removed off Equifax as well as Experian, though. That's still good, but I know. But the ones that were filed after November of 18, yeah. Are store cards included in Chase's 524? Yes, it is. Any new account is included in Chase's 5 and 24 rule. Any new account. It can be a installment. See a lot of people saying got their ticket. Shout out to y'all. I can't wait. Shit is gonna be freaking epic. And for those of you who didn't know, basically, when I did use to repair credit, what I did exclusively for years was only work with real estate agents or lenders. And I would be the person that if their client needed to close on a home, they're going to send them to me. That was literally my primary, that's all I did at first. And then it transitioned to teaching individuals how to fix their credit because I don't repair it anymore. But I used to only work with real estate agents. Like when I first started, I used to only work with real estate agents or lenders. And a lot of people actually are following me from their real estate agent. Y'all tell me that, y'all comment there pretty much every day somebody tell me that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember working with that person. It is so cool. How do I wait? That was going too fast. How to get a credit limit increase on a credit card? It has to be at least 90 days from the last time you requested it or from when you first opened the account. And this is for most credit cards. Some companies may vary. So for the most part, it has to be at least 90 days since your last increase. If they have given you an increase, it has to be 90 days since then. You want to make sure that obviously you don't have any late payments at the time of requesting a credit limit increase on that account, but especially on your credit profile for at least a year. You are going to want to make sure that your utilization is low and you've reported at low utilization for the last 90 days. And then I would apply for a credit limit increase. For certain cards, I apply for a credit limit increase every 91 days, literally. For my American Express cards that do have a credit limit, I request a credit limit increase every 91 days. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I'm a realtor and just got my ticket. Yeah, shout out to you. Oh yeah, someone just said you taught at my firm. So another thing that I still do this now is I actually go travel or even Zoom nowadays. I would teach in banking institutions, financial institutions, schools sometimes, but a lot of times real estate firms about credit, like how to build credit, how to repair credit and all of that. So yeah, I still do that today though. I just don't actually repair credit by myself. I teach about it. Yep, I'm a realtor. You work with me. Yeah, shout out to you. My mouth is dry as fuck. Should you get your house first or a car? Always your house first. Always your house first. In terms of
if you know you want to purchase a home, the car that you're trying to get should wait until after the home, because you don't want to add any new debt on your credit report or new accounts, which will lower your credit score. But you're adding more debt to your credit report, which will also then raise your debt to income ratio. So basically what you really should do, and what most people do, is soon as they close on their home, they go right to the car lot and get a new car. Your credit profile is probably pristine because you just closed on a home. It had to qualify to get a mortgage, so it had to be good. If you can qualify for a mortgage, you can qualify for any car loan. So they close on a home and go right to the car lot. Your mortgage has not reported on your credit report yet. It usually takes like 60 to 90 days for your mortgage to report. So you want to do it before your mortgage report so that they don't calculate that debt into, if you can afford the car or not. So do it right when you close. That's the best time. Any books you recommend to learn credit on your own? I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this, but the only thing that's going to teach you about credit, because I've read a lot of books and they don't teach you nearly as much as actually reading the consumer laws. That is what's going to really teach you about credit. That is what's going to separate you from most other credit specialists. That's what's going to separate you. Knowing the laws and knowing how to use them as leverage to get deletions is always what's going to work. It's why I have letters that are 4 and 5 years old that still today get deletions. Every single day someone tags me about a deletion from my letters. It's not because my letters are so freaking special and different. No, they are literally just taking the laws, taking things directly out of the laws, translating them on paper, and challenging it based on the laws. Like, that's what's going to get it. Read the FCRA, read the FDCPA. Of course, you need to read CROA because that's all about compliance and running a credit repair business. But that's where you're going to get the most knowledge, reading the laws, like truthfully. I have them bookmarked. I read them I'm forcing myself to read it every few months because it's so much knowledge just straight in the laws. It's boring as hell. It's boring as hell reading it. I'm not even going to hold you, but read it and take notes. How long after you get a new car should you wait to begin the home buying process? So it's going to vary based on what lender you go with, but we used to always recommend to not have any open accounts within 9 months of wanting to start your home buying process, getting your pre-approval. I say within 9 months only because at that point it's considered a seasoned account. Mortgage lenders they don't like seeing new unseasoned accounts. That's new debt. They want to make sure that you can fully afford what you already have before they approve you for this large installment. You know what I mean? So yeah. No, I don't do one-on-ones right now. I don't do it right now. If my charge-off is reporting open, is that illegal? So a charge-off should always be closed. Even if you are actively paying on that account, a charged-off account has to be closed before it was charged off. After 180 days of an account being charged off, the FCRA states that a charged-off account is closed to future changes, meaning it's a dead account. There should not be any movement. The only time there should be movement on a charged-off account is if you are still paying it. If you are still paying it, if you worked out a payment agreement with the company, then yes, they obviously can report the balance changing. The balance will change because the balance will reduce. But if you haven't paid it and it's been 6 months, it should not be any movement on a charge-off, no interest or nothing like that. That's why a lot of times with repossessions, in order to still charge you interest, they won't charge off the account. They'll just close it. They'll just close it and still and charge you interest. Maybe federal just approved me for $25,000. I need a new car. Should I apply now? If you ain't trying to get a house soon, then I see no reason why not. Will what increase your score? Yes, it's on June 1st. This upcoming June 1st. Clearly. I meant this upcoming week. I'm sleepy. Can y'all tell? It's 11 o'clock. Oh, child, I am really showing out. And I got to get up early. Do you write a letter for a credit limit increase? No, I requested through the app. All banks nowadays are going to allow you to request through the app. No, it ain't it's none personal. But if they deny me, then it's personal. Then I'm going to be looking to email the CEO. Because what are you denying me for? I don't do it all the time. I don't do it with Amex no more because they 9 times out of 10, they like if let's say I apply for what is that, 4 increases a year, they're gonna at least approve 2 of them. On a good year, they're gonna approve 3 because y'all know I ask, like I said, like every 90 days. They approve more than they deny most of the times. I don't like co-branded American. Well, no. So when I say co-branded American Express cards, I am meaning like the Navy Federal American Express card, the Credit One American Express card, the Amazon credited. Well, the Amazon one ain't that bad, but I don't like when companies just slap on the logo just because it's American Express and kind of like frame it as their top of the line card. I don't like that because you might as well just get a real American Express card. You might as well. So that you can have the real benefits of being an Amex customer. Yes, you always supposed to start with round 1 bureau investigation. Sorry. Yeah, if you're in a Facebook group, it's in a group files for free. If you are a credit cousin. Best credit card recommendations to boost my score is 707. So credit cards don't boost your score after when you're at 700. What's going to boost your score when you're at 700 is credit age and credit utilization, right? So, I mean, I guess technically speaking, if you do add another credit card, it will lower your utilization. But I mean, you also can do that without losing credit age by just paying down your current credit card accounts. If you've already paid down your utilization to between 1% and 3% and your score is still not moving, then at the time, that's the maximum score that you are able to get based on things like your credit age. So you just have to continue to do what you're doing. And then every few months, you're going to see an increase in your score. After 700, the points does not come monthly. You're not going to see a change in your credit score every month after 700. It's just not going to happen. I never see changes in my credit report. I'm talking like if I get a 2-point increase twice a year, I'm happy at this point because you only have 850 to get to. So you don't have many points left. What? Oh, dang, I clicked on it, but where it go? Okay. Wait, why I keep doing it? Okay, why is $123 medical collection increasing by $1 each month? Now it's up to $311. Should I negotiate for deletion on original amount? Are you going to go? So you're asking, should you send a pay to delete? But then you're asking, should you challenge it? So you pick one. I would it's $123. It's going to start being deleted from your credit report anyway, starting July 1st. So you can leave it alone, or, I would just send the HIPAA letters. When it comes to medical, I would send the HIPAA letters, the HIPAA kit. If you are in a Facebook group, it's in the group files. If you got a DIY kit, it's also in the DIY kit. Okay, what I meant, so someone asked, did you say you should never pay collections? This is a long answer. What I meant by that is when you pay a collection, if you do not have a pay to delete already in place, which is an agreement with the collection agency that as soon as you pay it, they're going to delete it from your credit report. That's a pay to delete. If you do not already have an established pay to delete when you pay a collection, the company will not delete your account. Like, they don't have to delete your account. Payment does not mean that the account will be deleted from your credit report. A lot of people seem to think that when they pay a collection, that it just disappears and it no longer affects their credit score. That is false. No matter the balance on your collection account, if it is still on your credit report, it is still negatively impacting your credit profile and your score. So unless it's going to be deleted, it has already done the damage that it's going to do. The worst thing is when people wait 4 years to pay a collection account. If you don't pay that collection account within 1 or 2 years, why the hell are you paying it after 5 years? Now it doesn't even really matter in terms of your credit score. Companies don't give a fuck about it because it's more than 2 years old. You paying it is only going to bring it back current. So what that means is the older a collection is, the less impact it has on your score. So by you bringing that account current, now if it's not deleted, like I said, and you just like paid it or settled it, now you brought that collection current. Now it can decrease your credit score. Now lenders are going to see it and it's going to look like you just got that collection when the collection was already 5 years old. That was a rant. But I hope that answers your question. If you're not being sued and that collection is more than 3 years old and you ain't paid it in them 3 years, what the hell are you paying it now for? Why? Companies only care about the last 24 months for the most part. That's the main thing on your credit report that they care about. The only exception is if like a bankruptcy, they'll still take a bankruptcy into account. But other than that, they only give a fuck about the last 2 years. So don't be trying to be a good Samaritan and pay it 4 years later. What the hell? You missed that window. If they ain't collected in them first 2 years, what's the point? Oh, LC, I don't have your bankruptcy. So who has it? Have you pulled all of your third-party reports? Have you compared them to see who exactly has it? You need to find who has your bankruptcy. Yeah, I work with Astra. They get deleted every day. B, they ain't nobody special. Mm-hmm. How to get in the Facebook group? You just request it. It's the Road to 750 on Facebook. Request it, and then we try to approve a few hundred a day. We try to. Pacer is verifying my bankruptcy for LN. Oh, they got you with the Pueblo. But I would challenge that. I would challenge them on the basis of using public available information to negatively impact your credit rating. Because technically speaking, they're not supposed to do that, which is why they have these companies in place like LexisNexis, ARS, and all of them to do the dirty work. So, and then they sell it to the credit bureau so that they can say that they got it from LexisNexis and not Pacer or the courthouse. Is American Express a good credit card to get? American Express has some of the best credit cards in the entire world. According to like so many, they always rank at the top of the list of any credit card list. So I would say they're a great credit card to have for sure. Should you refinance a car loan if you have high debt to income? So that's not really going to help your debt to income because you still are going to owe the account. It will affect your credit age though. And also if you have a high interest rate and hopefully you're within the first 2 to 3 years of having that car, really the first two years of having that car, then I don't see anything wrong with refinancing. Like sometimes it's worth it to take that little short-term hit to your credit report, losing those few points for your credit age in order to overall pay less for a depreciating asset, So I'm all for refinancing. I just don't really like when y'all wait 3-4 years to refinance. Why are you doing that? You was almost done with the loan. Now you done restarted a 5-year loan. Yeah, if you're gonna refinance, do it. Listen, my before the car that I have now, I refinanced within the same month. I got the car refinanced within the same month. Like the sooner, the better when it comes to refinancing. So that you don't lose credit age. You ain't gonna lose much credit age if you do it very soon, like in close proximity to getting approved. Secured your ticket. Yes, I cannot wait to see y'all. June 1st, how to buy a home in 2022. If you're a first-time home buyer, if you don't know where to start, if your credit is bad and you like, I'm never gonna be able to purchase a home, pull up on me at this webinar and I bet you I change your mind. And I bet you I give you more than your money's worth. It's $19.99 MG. Listen, you ain't gonna see him in a webinar for $19.99. I'm joking, but I'm for real. Like his webinars are typically like $100, $200, $300, $400, $9.99. So I asked him, can you pull up on me, educate y'all for $19.99? And he agreed. So shout out to him. Shout out to him for sure. Like dead ass. Shout out to him. Because to even book him, your girl would have had to came out of a big bag. But he looked out. And if you don't know who he is, Google him. It speaks for itself. One thing about it, their resume speaks for itself. But yeah, you're not gonna want to miss this. I promise you, you're not gonna want to miss this. I'm gonna teach you more. I'm gonna teach you so much information about your credit report. He's gonna teach you so much information about buying a home for less than you spend at McDonald's, for less than you spend at Chick-fil-A. Dead ass. Shout out to you, Lauren. How should my credit profile look if I want to get a high limit CC with Navy Federal? I do have a pledge loan and a checking and savings with them, but 2 derogatory accounts from 2016 and a medical account less than 300. I would say you, unless you're not telling me the full story, because I'm like, from what you've told me, the 2 collections from 2016 is not that big of a deal. It's, first of all, those are about to fall off anyway. So maybe you should just wait till they fall off. Actually, what's that? 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 7 years. I would call the credit bureaus and ask for an early exclusion because those accounts are about to fall off anyway. And I would say, hey, would you guys be willing to grant me an early exclusion for these 2 accounts? The natural fall off date is approaching, and I'm trying to buy a home in this competitive market, and now is the time. They typically are going to say yeah, especially like Experian and TransUnion. Equifax is a little more stank with it, so you might have to call them more than once, but ask for early exclusion because they're about to fall off anyway. Yeah, road to 750.net. Yeah, once it's purchased, you can rewatch it. You will have lifetime access to the replay. It's yours. It's yours. Go back and reference it. You will have the notes and you will have the presentations. Go back and reference it. Go back through that information. Like, yes, it's yours. All of that. 420. Yes. How do you join a home ownership webinar? You can just purchase your tickets on my website, which is road2750.net, or it's linked in my bio. And it's first come, first sold. So until they sold out, it'll still be available. Do you have an early exclusion letter? So it's not typically a letter for early exclusion. It's typically calling. So it's not going to be a letter because it's not a dispute. It's just basically something that the credit bureaus typically do from time to time if you ask them. Typically, the account has to be within 6 months of the natural fall off date for most of them to consider. But I've seen them grant them for like if it was within a year, especially like within 9 months. It's all in the representative that you get. But yeah, it's not a dispute, so you don't have to write a letter. If they didn't have my social, how were they able to add a collection? Should I dispute it? That is a funny question. Funny in a sense of most people don't realize that in order for a collection agency to put a collection on your credit report, they do not need your social security number. No, they do not need your social security number. Your social security number does not even have to be on your credit report. That's another thing that most people don't realize. The only thing that they do have to have is your name, and at least your name, meaning just your last name, first initial, and a zip code or your address. They only have to match 2 points of information in order for the account to be considered validated in terms of ownership with the credit bureaus, right? And I'm gonna go further. I know you didn't ask this, but this is exactly why I always recommend that when you are disputing accounts on your credit report, you never dispute the ownership of the account if the account is actually yours. If the account is not yours, that's a whole different process. You really shouldn't even be challenging it like the other accounts. Never dispute the ownership of a collection if it is yours. It's too many consumer laws available to us that we can utilize to actually get it removed permanently, and ethically and accurately. Disputing the ownership of an account is the easiest dispute or investigation that a credit bureau does. It's the easiest thing that they can do. You putting the ball right in their court when you dispute the ownership of your account. They don't have to have your social. They only have to match 2 points of personal information. The personal information section of your credit report? Yeah, all of those names, all of those addresses, all of those phone numbers, all of those different variations of your name. All they got to do is match at least 2 of those points in order for that to be considered legally yours. So you don't want to dispute that because that's all they have to prove. Instead, you want to ask for an investigation, or you want to dispute how something is reporting as opposed to ownership, because that's going to give you a greater chance of getting the account deleted. I feel like I'm ranting tonight, y'all. I do that when I'm real sleepy. because I know that was just so many words to say yeah to your question. Hey Shonda, what's up? I have a CC charge off from Credit One for $5,000 from 2015. I got served and sued in 2019. Okay. I didn't go to court. It's now reporting charge off every month. Should I dispute or settle? They didn't garnish you? What happened at the court date? What happened at the court? Because it would depend on what the judge ruled, but damn, it's from 2015. Why the hell? You know why? They waited till 2019 to sue you because depending on your state, they were probably approaching the statute of limitations. And they was like, we ain't getting this money, so we're going to sue her. We're going to sue her. Because there are certain things on your credit report that will alert collection agencies. Look, so like, have y'all ever just randomly out of the blue just started getting all different calls from collection agencies? Not even all different calls, but like just started receiving calls or letters from a collection agency that may have been on your credit report for years. Like they was not bothering you, and then suddenly they just bothering you, and you like, what the hell? Like, why are they just now contacting me? There are certain things and certain changes that when it happens to your credit report, all of your current creditors, like all of your current collection agencies, they are alerted. They have these alerts set up. So different things that happen on your credit profile will alert them and make them think that you have some money, meaning that they have a greater chance of collecting on their debt. What are those things? Anytime you apply for new credit and you report a new job that's not already on your credit report. So let's say you're doing a credit card application and they say, who is your employer? And you put LaShonda Martin LLC, right? And if LaShonda Martin LLC is not already on your credit report, it's going to ding as a new employer. That ding is alerting the collection agency. And guess what new employer means to collection agency? Cha-ching, she got that money. Let's get her. Let's contact her. Another thing that causes them to contact you, if you had a significant decrease in your debt or utilization. So let's say you took your utilization from like 80% and you took it all the way down to 30 or to 20. They like, oh, she got some money. Let's contact her. She paying off her credit cards. She got some money. So anytime you have a decrease in your debt or utilization, a drastic one, it's going to alert them. And I believe it's more than like 10%. So like if you go, no, maybe it's 20. So if you go from like 80 to 60 or something like that, right? Another thing, anytime you apply for a new credit card, if you get approved for a new credit card and they see a new trade line pop up on your credit report of a credit card, sis got money. She got some money. Let's count. She can even pay this collection on her credit card. Like let's call her. So there are certain things that will alert them, and that's why they are calling you out the blue, because something changed on your credit profile, or it could be a new address. So if you had a new address pop up on your credit report, they're likely going to send a letter to that address because, oh, this is her new address. Let's mail her there. Maybe she'll get the mail. So yeah, girl, they all plugged in. They all work together. Ain't none of them on your side. Ain't none of them. Tips on removing paid collections. I have one that's just on my credit report as paid, and the other says I paid $300 when I paid $600 and report a term of 1 month. Sent out round 3, but experience in reporting a term of 1 month every month. I got a problem with that. I had forgot what your question was, because why does a collection agency has a payment history? A collection is never a trade line. The only accounts that should have a payment history on your credit report are trade lines. Collection is not a trade line. You never had a contract with a collection agency. Your contract is with the original creditor, meaning the collection agency cannot report as a creditor because they are not a creditor. They are a defaulted account. So collections should not have a payment history. And that's a very common mistake that I see on credit reports, that you are able to challenge. If your collection has a payment history, you need to challenge that. That is a false representation of your debts, because guess what? That can be counted in your utilization falsely, and it's not supposed to be if it was a credit card, and your debt to income ratio, of course. Another thing, a collection should also not have a past due balance. So if it can have a balance owed. So like if let's say it was a credit card and you owe the company $500, yes, a collection agency can say that you owe them $500. What they cannot say is that you are past due $500. You know why? Goes back to what I first said. A collection agency cannot have a payment history attached to their account as if they are a trade line. You never had a contract with the collection agency, therefore you never had a due date. You cannot have a due date unless you have a contract. You don't have a due date, so how the fuck are you late? There's no way you can be late on a collection because by default, a collection is already a defaulted late account. They cannot report late because you don't have an established due date. You can't be late without an established due date. Do you get what I do? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting? If they can't report a payment history and they can't report a past due balance, they also I done lost my goddamn train of thought. But yeah, I hope y'all got what I was saying. I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's to answer your question because you did ask something else. Pay, okay, because a paid collection is definitely the hardest type of collection to remove because in the eyes of the law and per the FCRA, the second that you pay on a collection, even if it's $1, you have verified that debt. You have validated that you agree with it, it's yours, etc. So you have legally verified and validated your own debt the second that you pay a collection agency. Or enter into a payment agreement. This is why y'all gotta be careful talking to these collection agency. In fact, just don't do it. Just cut it. Like there's no, what can you and a collection agency talk about over the phone that y'all can't talk about in black and white? Nothing. The answer is nothing. Nada. Nothing. If they call you, I would only like to communicate with you via written communication. Please do not contact me via telecommunication anymore. Period. Anything that you can say to me, you can say it in black and white, because one thing about it, you are going to infringe upon my consumer rights and you are going to bank on me not knowing. And as soon as you do, you gotta go. You gotta go. Collection agencies walk the line of ethical and illegal all the time. All the time. Just knowing your rights, just knowing a few of your FDCPA rights. Wait, but you did. Wait. What I was gonna say is when a collection agency call you, first of all, you shouldn't be talking to them. But if you do talk to them, you know how they say like, what's your name, what's your date of birth, what's your last 4 of your social, because I gotta verify this information before I talk to you. While that is true, because they have to make sure that they're talking to you, what you need to realize or what you need to understand is if they don't already have that information, then they cannot legally validate the debt. So what I would do as soon as they call me, I would know like who the company is, because you can ask them who the company is. You need to send them a debt validation letter immediately. Hey, I don't want to, don't, you can even literally just say, don't call me. I only want you to mail me or, communicate via written communication, right? You can tell them that. So send them a debt validation letter. Force them to validate the account. If they don't have your name, the last 4 of your social, and your address, then they cannot even validate the account. So a lot of times they ask you this to not only be in compliance, but to make sure that all of their records are right. Because you got to freaking know the second that you say anything that they don't have, they update that. Because they need that information to validate the debt. So don't talk to them. Send them a debt validation letter, force them to validate the debt, because if they can't validate it, then legally they have to never report to the credit report. They can't even send it to the credit bureaus until they validate it, as long as you request it. So don't throw away collection notices. That's the worst thing you can do. As soon as you get a collection notice, the second that a collection notice gets delivered to your address, the timer starts and you have 30 business days. You have 30 business days to request validation of that debt. Request and validation is only recognized written in black and white. The FDCPA only protects written communication. So that's very important. When you are talking to these collection agencies, you are not protected. FDCPA only recognizes written communication. So the second that you find out who it is or they send you that collection notice, follow up with a debt validation letter. If they cannot send it to the credit bureaus until they validate it. They cannot ignore it. It's illegal. It's called the dunning period. Yes, 30 days. 30 days. You have 30 days to request validation from the collection agency of the debt. My mouth being dry as fuck. Yeah, that will be a crediversity this year, 2022. Mm-hmm. Do I suggest the X1 card? I like it. Especially if well, you know, they only report to Equifax. Equifax, yeah. Equifax or Experian. I don't know why it's not coming to me. I believe it's Equifax. They only report to one bureau. But I'm gonna be honest, I liked when they didn't report to any because that was like a leisure card. You know what I mean? Like you not having to worry about utilization or da. Like I love that. And especially because that's a fintech card. I've already gotten my credit limit increase. Someone asked me that, so they had started me at 50, and they already increased to 10,000. By the way, so I like them. The only thing I don't like is their reward point structure. That's the only thing I don't like. But in terms of the credit limit, the company, I've had no issues at all. What is the fee for Amex? It depends on what cards you get. They got some cards that the annual fee is $10,000. The Centurion card, or they got some cards with the annual fee of like $199 or even $600 for the platinum card. Or it varies. It really truly varies depending on what card. I believe they have some no annual fees. Maybe, I think. I don't know. Maybe they do. Oh yeah, they do. They do. Because I want to say the gold. I can't remember which American Express card don't have an annual fee, but I do know that they do have a few that don't have it. I want to say the Blue Everyday Cash does not have an annual fee. Oh, the gold. Okay, the gold doesn't have an annual fee as well. Yeah, so they do have a few without no annual fee. Are you against credit cards with annual fees? I mean, I'm not. No, because my favorite credit cards have annual fees. Typically speaking, any top tier card is going to have an annual fee because they have to be able to like recuperate some from all the benefits that they give, the credits that they give. So all the best cards in the world are going to have an annual fee. It just is what it is. So no, I'm not against credit cards with annual fees. Yeah, I have the Delta Sky Miles. I got that before I had got the platinum. I would say that if I could do it over, I wouldn't have got the Sky Miles card. I would have just stuck with like the platinum, or like if you have Chase, I would have stuck with the Sapphire Reserve. The gold is $250, the annual fee. I thought so. I thought it had annual fee. Child, I don't know. I don't know which ones have an annual fee. Not off the top of my head, I don't. Yeah, so once it's deleted from your credit report, you need to settle it so that they don't sell it to another agency and it comes back, because that's the only thing that will prevent it from coming back is if you settle it. The good news is after it's deleted, they're liable to take 20 and 30% of the debt. Like they're not really pressed because the only thing they could do at that point is try to sell it to another collection agency, which is going to pay them pennies on a dollar. They know they're not gonna get no money for it. Especially like the more collection agencies an account has been with, the less valuable it is. So the less amount of money that they're going to be able to get with it for it anyway. So that's when you can offer them freaking. I've seen people pay on a what was it? Like a $1,500 debt, they paid $40 or something like after it was deleted. So like after it's deleted, just settle. Yeah, the DIY kit is for if you're trying to challenge like collections, personal information, charge-offs, medical collections, and all of that. The bankruptcy kit is for bankruptcies, though. If you have a bankruptcy, I would do the bankruptcy kit. But if you have like collections and all of that, I would do the DIY kit. My favorite business credit card, the Chase Inc. Amex Blue Business Plus, and the Business Gold, Amex Business Gold. What's happening with medical on July 1st? Good question. So on July 1st, for all medical collections on all of your credit reports, if any of them have a balance under $500, whether you paid it or not, it is going to automatically be removed. In addition to that, if you have any medical collections on your credit report that you have previously settled or paid in the past, and it now is reflecting closed or a $0 balance, it will also be removed from your credit report. Automatically, is nothing that you have to do. It's not a dispute. This is a new law that was passed. And it starts July 1st with Equifax First. Experian and TransUnion will start their removal of medical collections early 2023. So again, any medical collections under $500 will be removed, whether paid or unpaid. Any medical collections with any medical collections that were paid or settled in the past, regardless if they were over $500 originally, they will also be removed. And any existing medical collections that's medical debt that's not already on your credit report, the providers will now have to wait at least 1 full year in order to give you more time to make the payment. Right now, as it stands, they only have to wait 6 months. So with the new law, they'll have to wait a full year. So those are the 3 main changes that will affect our credit reports starting July 1st. And like I said, it's only for medical collections, so it's not for other collections, literally just for medical. It could be ambulance bills, it could be anything, but it just has to be coded as medical. It has to be coded as medical. If it's from a physician, doesn't matter in what situation, if it's medical, it will be deleted if it is under $500. So those are new exciting changes that has come to our credit reports. Something else that's not so exciting for a lot of people is, you guys know that FICO 10T recently just premiered for the first time. They've been teasing it for a few years. What FICO 10T is it's the newest version of our credit score. So you're probably most familiar with FICO 8, which is the one that you see when you log into Experian. It's the one that's most used for credit card applications and things of that nature. It's the most widely used version. So that's the one that you're probably used to seeing. FICO 10T is a little stricter, a lot more strict than previous versions of our FICO scores. And that's because for the first time in the history of our FICO score, which is not even that far away, it literally unveiled in 1989. But anyways, the entire history of having a credit score, we have never, ever, ever calculated trended data into our credit score. Trended data means that, as opposed to right now, how if you fill out an application, your lenders or whoever will see your credit report, they can only see the current utilization that you are reporting. They cannot see what you reported last month. They can't see what you reported 3 months ago. The only utilization that they see is what was your current utilization. However, with the newest version, which is FICO 10T, they can see 24 months for every single trade line on your credit report. 24 months of utilization history. Do y'all realize how crazy that is? You got to think about this. And this is the number one thing that I don't think most people are freaking thinking about. What are we fresh off the heels of? What major world problem are we really still in it? But what, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we fresh off the heels of? The pandemic. What happened in the pandemic? Most fucking people lost their jobs. Most people had really high utilization. Most people were living off their credit cards. So you're telling me that you have been teasing FICO 10T for over 3 years at this point, and now you come out with FICO 10T that is judging consumers on their credit utilization for the past 24 months. So if you have repeatedly reported high utilization throughout the last 2 years, your FICO 10T score will likely decrease, and they're saying that it's going to affect more than 35% of Americans. But the good news, I guess, for some is if you have been reporting a low utilization consistently throughout the last 2 years, your FICO 10T score will likely increase. So yeah, that is the not so good news that's coming up. And that's my only thing. It's so many people that lost their damn jobs. It was so many people living off their credit cards being forced to because they lost their fucking jobs. And you unveil it now. I just think it was very insensitive, and I think it was very calculated. It's going to be an excuse for why interest rates are about to rise. It's going to be an excuse for them to tax the hell out of us because, oh, we pull FICO 10T. And according to FICO 10T, this person who usually will probably have a credit score of 630. We're gonna be very modest. 630 now has a credit score of 570 or something like that, which obviously puts you in a total different arena than 600 plus. Then it's going to be, okay, well, this car that you would have probably gotten at a 4% interest rate, 5% interest rate, now we're gonna charge you 18%. It just started it really kind of started last month. What I will say is it's going to take a little while for companies to move over to wanting to accept that, but I definitely think that it'll be the most widely used version soon. Like whenever it do pick up, I don't know when, because I don't know. I definitely think it's going to be the most used one, especially when it comes to credit cards. Like it's going to absolutely be for banks. It's going to be their main score. Why, if you were a lender, why wouldn't you want to know that information? You know what I mean? Like think about from a lender standpoint. Of course, they're going to pick the score where they can actually see how you behave on your credit card for 24 months, as opposed to picking a credit report that's only going to show them what you've done the last 30 days. You know, so of course it's going to be the most used one by banks for sure. I think so. Yeah, just personal credit. You didn't talk me more. You didn't talk me more watching you on live for 30 minutes. I just had to buy the ticket and I already got it home. Shout out to you, and I bet you still gonna learn more because this ain't even. We just kicking. We just chilling right now. But yes. I mean, I don't know if it'll count as discrimination because what would it be discriminating? Your credit report? You know what I mean? Like I don't think that'll fly, unfortunately. Because yeah, FICO 10T has been teased for 3 years, so they can definitely already claim like this was already in the plans prior to the pandemic. You know, they can make an excuse on why it didn't come out sooner, you know, but banking on them to take accountability, yeah, I wouldn't. I would not, girl. Let me see. If they validate the debt, what do you do next? It depends. Did they really validate it? Did they give you the original contract? Did they present your signature in any way? Did they send you a letter with the from the original creditor telling you that they now own the account? If the answer is no to all of the above, then they didn't validate it. Even if the credit bureau say that they validated it, you are able to follow up and ask for more information. You are able to continue to dispute something that they has not been properly validated. They may give you a hard time. Cool. You just got to stay persistent, stay consistent. But to answer your question, if they did actually validate it, then the best thing you can do is settle it because they validated it. It's not like it's not going to be deleted. You might as well just settle it, especially if it's not on your credit report already. Exactly. Oh yeah, somebody said hit that like button. Giving us yes. If y'all heard, give me tap the screen 3 times. I think if you're on TikTok, hit the like button. It definitely helps creators. If you apply for a store Mastercard and get issued plan store card, would you keep it or cancel? Get issue plan. Oh, you saying like a retail card? I mean, I have some retail cards that I hate, but I do still keep them because I don't want to lose credit aid. I can't really afford to lose credit aid, so I keep them. So after you open them, you know, if you are gonna close them as soon as possible, don't let it continue to age. And the longer you've had it, the harder it'll hit your credit score. I lose my voice every live. I lose my voice 150 days of the year. That's just I don't know. That's just my voice, I guess. It's very easy for me to lose my voice. What about charge-offs that were settled for less? What do you mean? What about them? Like, what question do you have about them? Yeah, but even honestly, even if I'm not talking a lot, I'll just lose my voice. It's been that way my whole life. It's just to get really like low and raspy. No, I don't personally repair credit. I teach you how to repair your credit, or I teach you about credit. So I don't personally do it anymore. Heck no. Which CC only pulls Experian? Off the top of my head, that's hard. I would have brought up my notes if my memory. I want to say who pulls Experian? Just Experian. American Express pulls Experian, right?
if my memory serves me correct, I want to say Amex full Experian. I could be wrong. Wait till a few of your credit cousins answer, because my mind is fried right now. Don't American Express pull Experian? I could have sworn they put Experian. Oh, Discover does pull Experian. Yeah, okay, American Express do. Yeah, American Express pulls Experian. Yes, if you don't know the difference between your mortgage scores or your regular scores, then you definitely need to pull up on a webinar, because that's one of the main points. How to raise your mortgage scores, because your FICO 8 score not gonna matter when you're trying to buy a home. What's gonna matter is scores FICO 2, 4, and 5. Those are your mortgage scores. So, yep, pull up to me on the webinar June 1st. Tickets available now, $20, $19.99 on the site. What if you have a medical bill after July 1st? Can they put it on there after a year if it's under 500? No. So the new rules that are taking place, it also will affect conceding medical bills. So if it's under $500, it's not going to be like, it can never go on your credit report until this law changes. So for now, it cannot go on your credit report. Now, what I am concerned about, you know what, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna be optimistic about this. It's just always for me, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be very optimistic. So it's gonna be a good thing for everyone. It's not gonna bite us in the ass in any way. Yeah. He's bought your ticket. Shout out to you, Dion. Shout out to you. How do you know when they open the letter? Like, you'll get an alert to say that if you have an account, if you have an account with the credit bureaus, which is free, they'll alert you. They'll email you and say, we just opened a dispute. We just opened an investigation. So I recommend that you get an account with all of the credit bureaus. It's free. Experian.com, Equifax.com. So many people have medical bills. Do y'all know that medical collections, as of 2022, medical collections are the most common collection on credit reports? Medical collections is I believe 35% of all collections. Telecommunication collections is next at 15%. I'm going to forget the rest of them. But yes, medical collection is the most common collection. And this has never happened, by the way. This is the first time in history that telecommunications were under medical collection. And it all was because in 2 years, since the pandemic started to from July of 2021 or 2022 to when the law was first made a few months ago, there were, I'm going to get the number so wrong because I'm trying to go off memory. I want to say 70 billion or something like that. It may be big, more than 70 billion, but $70 billion of medical debts added to credit reports, a record high, because obviously a lot of people had to be hospitalized. So that's pretty much where the new medical changes kind of like stem from, because it was a crisis. So yes, a lot of people have medical debt. Most people have medical debt. So this will definitely impact a lot of people. And the good thing is, I know 500 seems really low, but honestly, that is the most common medical collection, under $500. It really truly is. Statistically speaking, the most common medical collection is under $500. Because it's typically like co-pays that y'all done forgot to pay. And I want to say this. I absolutely want to say this. Even if it doesn't matter the balance on the collection. So even if the collection agency is hounding you down for $100, if it has not been on your credit report yet, go ahead and pay it. I don't care what the balance on the collection is. It will still affect you the same as any other collection. A $50 collection affects you the same as a $1,000 collection. No, I cannot tell you how many times I hear people saying, oh, it's just $100. It's just $128. It does not matter. It does not matter. Collection is a collection, is a collection, is a collection. The best collection is no collection. So the balance does not matter. I recommend starting off with a secure card if you have to. If you don't have to, if you don't have any bad items on your credit report, no collections, no charge-offs, no public records, no nothing, then I would try to do like Discover It. I would try to do Capital One Platinum or even Capital One Quicksilvers.
So you don't always have to start off with secured. Most people do because most companies are going to probably try to require you to do so, but you don't always have to. It's real. It really depends. Does it matter if does it matter if I add my son to my credit card? He is 8. So this is a really big misconception. So a lot of people think that if they add their child at like my son is 9, right? My oldest. If I add him right now at 9, it's not going to be any different than if I added him when he was 17. The only kind of like rule in time that I would suggest is at least 6 months before their 18th birthday. And that the only reason is because in order to even generate a FICO score, in order to even have a credit score, you have to have an account reporting for at least 6 months. So if you put them on your credit card for at least 6 months prior to their 18th birthday, then they would have already started generating a credit score at 18. Whereas most people, if they don't have the AU, they'll have to wait a few more months, even sometimes up to a year, in order to generate a credit score. So it's not going to help your son more to add him at 7 or 17. In my opinion, it's just too much. It's just too much time in between. You don't know what happened. What if you get a late pay? You know what I mean? I just wouldn't want. It's not like they can get a credit score at 13 or 7, or they can be issued a credit score until they're 18 anyway. So you don't have to add them at 7. You don't have to add them at 7. I'm going to add my children. I'll probably do it like maybe 7 months before their 18th birthday. At the most, a year. But they'll be 17 by the time they're added. What's the safest way to return my car without it messing up my credit? This is such a hard question, and I'm gonna tell you why it's hard. It's hard because there truly is no way to surrender a vehicle without it affecting your credit report. I know that it's sucky to say, and I hate when I don't have solutions, but I also will never like sell you a dream. There's no way to surrender a vehicle without it affecting your credit report. A voluntary repossession is the same as a involuntary repossession as it pertains to your credit card. I mean, credit profile, sorry. Credit score, credit profile. So unfortunately, there is no way to surrender it without it affecting your credit. No, she's just saying surrender. Now, obviously, you can try to sell the car. I don't know how much you owe. I thought she just meant how to turn it in. But yeah, I mean, you can see. I mean, right now, used cars are going for more than what they're worth, like by a lot. So I would try to sell it. Try CarMax. I would try Carvana. Yeah, I would get a few quotes. She said, "Damn, is this not the same person?" Somebody said their car, they're extremely upside down on their loan over 10,000. Shit. So even if she sell the car, she's still gonna owe a large chunk of the money, and now she don't even have the car. Tips to raise mortgage credit score. Come to the webinar. Come to the How to Buy a House 2022 webinar on July 1st. I mean, on June 1st. $20. I will be definitely talking about that. Is the Apple Card a good card? It's a good card. It's just not a great card. But yes, it is a good card. What? Oh, wait. Yeah, some companies will allow you to add at 13, but I mean, it's not going to make a difference in terms of your child's credit. It's not like you adding them earlier will make them generate a credit score earlier. I've been thinking on getting my credit utility down, then refinancing. Oh, wait, your credit utility down, then refinancing loan. Your credit utility. How long does bankruptcy stay on your credit report? Chapter 7 bankruptcy stay on for 10 years. 10 years. Chapter 13 stays on for 7. Tax lien judgments, 10.
Collections, charge-offs, 7. Open accounts, forever, as long as they're open. Forever. That's why student loans ain't going no goddamn where, because they're going to be open forever. But it's cool because student loans help your credit profile. What time is it? Yeah, I'm getting, damn, it's 12 o'clock. Oh my God, I'm getting so sleepy. So freaking sleepy. And I got to wake up at freaking 5:30. How do student loans help your profile? If as long as they're not in default, obviously, but as long as they are deferred, so even if you're not actively paying it, they report on-time payments to your credit profile, which is adding to your overall total payments. Which the higher and the more reported on-time payments you have on your credit profile, the less risky your score is, in the better credit profile that you'll have. So you want as many on-time payments as possible. It's the largest portion of your credit score. So, you want to have more, as much as possible. If you have under 500, your risk level, your risk score is always going to be higher, until you reach at least 500 on-time payments. This is why when you are building, I'm going to say this, and then because y'all going to want to argue, I'm going to say it and I'm just going to hang up on y'all. Which is why, if you don't already have an established credit profile, what's an established credit profile? At least 5 trade lines, five. Then you don't need to be ending loans early. You don't need to be ending installments early. I don't care how much interest you're paying on your car. You're gonna toughen it out and pay high interest for 3 years, so that for the rest of your life, every other succeeding loan that you get, you will be able to benefit off paying the interest for a year or two. You got to be in the trenches when you're building your credit report. If that means that you got to pay high interest on this loan just so that you can have all of the on-time payments reported on your credit profile, so that the next loan that you get, you can have a lower interest rate, then hey, you're just going to have high interest forever if you don't allow your credit profile to become mature. If you have under 500 on-time payments, your credit profile is beginner, meaning you're going to be getting beginner credit limits. You're going to be getting beginner APRs. You're not, no matter how high your credit score is, you can have an 800 score. But if you don't have a lot of on-time payments reported, so what? You still are not going to be eligible for as much as you could have been eligible for if you had more on-time payments reporting. So yeah, sometimes you got to pay interest. It's not worth it to end an installment early in the beginning of building your credit profile. You're building the foundation. After that, do you? But you always want to have at least one reported installment loan on your credit report that has a perfect payment history. Listen, a perfect payment history don't just mean only paying on time. I mean, of course it means that, but it also means that you abided to the term length, the contract that you signed, that you agreed you would pay this amount of money for this many amount of months, right? I don't suggest that you do this to your mortgage, because obviously, things change when it comes to mortgages. You might want to sell the house. That's a whole different ballpark. This is why you take advantage of car payments, which are way less than a freaking mortgage. Take advantage of having a perfect installment, a perfect long-term installment that is not a mortgage account. You always want to have an installment reported with perfect payment history, especially if you are still trying to actively get loans, whether that's home loans for you starting to invest, or whatever, personal loans. My bad. See, that just pissed me off and I don't know what I was talking about. And I'm sleepy. Yeah, 500 or more. 1,500 or more is elite. 1,500 or more is like, oh, she know what she doing. Oh, we can trust her with the cool 60K. We could trust her with the $100,000 loan. We could trust her because her history proves that she good money. Her history proves that she paid them people. That's how it look. Now, if you have, let's say you have like 100.
oh, she cute, she just probably started borrowing, she doing good so far, but ain't nothing really happened in 11 in ain't no major life event likely happen. So who's to say if she'll continue to prove herself through the test of time? Your age cannot be like, your age is not on your credit report. Like, your age does not have any, it doesn't matter how old you are in order for your credit score to be high or low. But what does matter is how long you've been building credit. That's another way for them to age discriminate. If you sort of say, how long have you been dealing with credit? How many on-time payments do you have? Because guess what? All of your AU accounts, you ain't getting all of their old payments that they made on that account. You don't get the credit age, but those on-time payments are not going to be calculated into the ones that you made, which is why lenders care about the on-time payments. Yes, you can have 100% payment history, but if you don't have many on-time payments reported, it's still your risk level, your risk score is higher than it has to be. That's it. It's higher than it has to be. You need on-time payments. The more on-time payments you have, the less that if something happens, Lord forbid, that you do get a late payment, the less impact that it'll have. You don't got many late payments, you get that late payment, that shit is going to be detrimental to your entire profile. You're probably going to lose 100 plus points. If I get a late payment right now, I might lose 40. I might lose 30. I'm for damn sure not going to lose 100 points though. What are trade lines? Trade lines are any accounts that report on your credit report, any active accounts. They can be credit cards, it can be car loans, mortgage loans. Anything that reports on your credit report is called a trade line. An AU trade line is an authorized user trade line. So that means that it is not your account. You were added to someone else's account. So you are not the primary account holder, right? So you have primary trade lines and you have AU trade lines. Primary trade lines is the ones that holds the most weight. It's the ones that lenders are going to really go through with a magnifying glass to determine your credit worthiness, to determine if you're going to get approved, because that is a direct reflection of your finances, of you as a consumer, because those are your accounts. You are the primary account holder. You are making payments, right? AU is somebody else's shit. So they don't care what your parent can have perfect payment history and doing really well on their credit card, but that don't mean that you are by default responsible. So primary trade lines, authorized user trade line. Yeah, I am gonna go to sleep. But yeah, so again, if you guys are trying to buy a home in the near future, make sure you come to the webinar, How to Buy a Home in 2022. It'll be held on June 1st, 2022. So next week. The tickets are $19.99. It'll be me and MG. I'm going to teach you how to prepare your credit profile to get a home loan. Whether that is fixing collections, charge-offs, late payments, inquiries. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about your mortgage scores and how you actually raise your mortgage scores. We are going to talk about how to build your credit profile, what accounts that you should have before applying for a mortgage. We are also going to talk about your credit profile as a whole and how different things affect you. So, and the credit score that lenders use and all that home lenders use and all of that. So, and then MG will be talking about the documents and income documents and stuff like that needed to even qualify for a home. He's a lender, so he deals with that side. He'll be able to tell you what they actually look for, what they don't care about that we may think that they do, and etc. So two for one. You get in the credit side as well as the lender side. So $19.99. It is on June 1st. And if you can't make June 1st, you will get the playback, you will get the slides, and you will get notes from the webinar. And it's yours for life. The replay is yours for life. You can reference it as many times as you want. $19.99, available on my website, road2750.net, ROAD750.net. Tickets are until they sell out. So first come, first serve. So yeah, I am about to get out here though. Yeah, because I swear I'll fall asleep right in front of y'all. Yeah, we will talk about loan types as well. And I'm sure I forgot to say some stuff as well. But yeah, we definitely will be touching on different loan types, what situation is best for, different loan types and all of that. Yeah, roll to 750.net. So yeah, get your ticket while they last, because you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret. I'm gonna personally make you regret it if you ain't make it. If you ain't get, if you can. Obviously, if you can't, I'm not talking to you. I'm just playing. But you will not regret it. You will not regret spending this $19.99, because when I tell you, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn. But yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep because I got a busy day tomorrow. So I will call y'all back tomorrow. I am gonna be live tomorrow for another Q&A. I'm gonna try to do it before 5 p.m. So hopefully y'all not at work and ain't gonna get in trouble. But yes, y'all, I will see y'all tomorrow. Follow me on whatever platform you own. I'm on all the platforms. Roll to 750, Shonda Martin. Yeah, bye. Peace.